Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome to my home. Good to have you back. I just wanted to take some time today to share a little bit about how things have been going living in this small camper here. I am up in the Northeast in the US here. It's nice and green. We've had some cooler, rainy weather, bringing the summer in with some rain. It's been nice though. It's been a little bit dry in this area and they've needed to get some rain. So I've just been taking some time, although the rain has let up a little bit right now, taking some time to spend inside the camper van here and doing some organizing and working on some projects I've been putting off because I've just been having too much fun outside. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, this is a 2010 GMC box van. It's a 10-foot box that's 10 foot in length. It's about I think 6.5 feet wide and 6.5 feet tall. I've got some ceiling insulation in that, so I'm 5'11". I've got a few inches to spare. So that's the setup here. And what I did was took out the roll-up door and built a wall and just put a swing-out door in back instead of the roll-up door. And then in the front, I cut a pass-through, and I currently just have a curtain hanging here, but that brings you up into the driving cab, so I can sneak through there without having to go out the back door. And in the back door here, I do have a screen. This is a bug net screen that has magnets, so you can push through it, and then it closes right behind you. Helps keep the bugs out, so I can keep my back door open. It's a little cool today, so I've got it closed up. But yeah, it's been very comfortable in here. I am, new into this. I built this while I was on the road this winter in the Southeast in Florida. Picked this up. I was in an old Chevy van and had been traveling in that for quite a few years, and made the transition into this. It's the first time I had done that while I was actually on the road traveling. So it was a challenge shuffling the stuff and moving from one van to the other while I didn't really have a home base. Big thank you to Bill and Mark for reaching out and helping me, giving me a place to stop and do some work at their places. That was a huge help. I really don't know how I would have pulled it off without you guys, so thank you. Yeah, so this is kind of the setup. I know I've showed this briefly before, but I just wanted to give a little update and recap for those of you that are new here, and for those that have been around a while. This is where I'm at. This is my desk area here. I've got my power center up front with my Battleborn lithium iron phosphate batteries. They've been working out great. All the components that go with it to harness and use the power, as well as the solar panels that are outside up on the roof. My little desk area here has been working out good. I am still working on getting an office chair. Got some stuff stored down here that needs to be cleared out and put up into the kitchen cabinets, so I have leg room for when I'm sitting down there. But it's been working out good. The little drawers I built are working great, and the kitchen cabinet up above. I switched out the hinges. They were opening to the side, out each way to the side, and now they open up. It's just a little easier to deal with. Put a nice magnetic catch there so they stay closed when I'm driving. And then I got some questions about this contraption. This is a Berkey water filter, water purifier, and it's gravity feed, so you pour water in the top, it purifies it and comes out into the bottom tank, and you can dispense it here with the little valve. Works out great if you don't have any clean water sources around. It will purify it, get rid of any, giardia, bacteria, and such. So it's been a good addition to the van. Of course, my little kitchen area here, storage for my food and all that down below, and there is a stove underneath this board here. This is the Dometic drop-in propane stove. Has been working out good, but a little update on that situation. I love how it functions. It's got the electric ignition, and the flame control is just perfect. A lot better than the camp stoves I've used in the past. But the one thing I really didn't think about was that it is screwed into the counter here. And if I'm not parked totally level, obviously if I'm on a hill, my pots are going to slide right off the stove. And I didn't really think of that. With my old setup, I just had a flat counter with a camp stove, a 2-burner propane camp stove. And if I was not level, I kept little boards that I would shim it up with. So if I was, parked down, I could put those board under and level it out, and I can't do that because this is secured into the countertop. So I've been dealing with it. Usually I have a level place to park. But yeah, there's been a couple situations where I wasn't able to get totally level, and it's challenging to cook on an uneven surface like that. Okay, and another kitchen-related item I have also, my other water source is just a 5-gallon bottle, and I have on top of it, this is an electric pump. It's made by a company called Primo. And previously I had a pump that was a hand pump. It had a plunger you pushed on and it dispensed the water, made by the same company. Used that for about good 8 years and it finally crapped out on me, so I got their electric version they have now. It's rechargeable, just got a tube that runs into the bottle and you just push the button and it pumps water right out of the little nozzle here. Works out real slick. Okay, and then over here in what I call the garage, this is where I have my mountain bike hanging. I specifically wanted in this setup to be able to store my mountain bike inside. Previously, I had used a bike that I stored on the outside, and the elements just really did a number on the bike, so I wanted to have my bike protected. I just used this wall hook. One of the projects I'm working on today is I have to remove the front wheel to hang it in here, which works out good. But I have not had a way to secure the bottom at the front forks, and you can see all this scuffing here. That's from it swinging around. So I got, I think, a solution. I'm going to mount a little block of wood here with a hole drilled through it, and I ordered an extra, they call it a skewer, that goes through the hub with the quick release setup there, so I can put that through that block of wood, clamp it, and then this will be secured to the wall. So I'm going to try to work on getting that done. And then you can see this here. A lot of you will ask, in this small space, there is no dedicated bathroom, as you can see. We just have my bed, and then that's it. There's the front of the van there. So I shower outside most of the time. I pretty much enjoy showering outside, so I don't have a desire to have a shower inside the van. It's one of the joys I get of spending a lot of time in nature. So I use this little bottle here. This is a pressurized pump bottle, so this handle pulls up and you can pump it to pressurize it. I have a video on how I made this and the parts I used, and this is just a little spray nozzle. You push the button and it has a nice spray stream, and I painted it black so you can set it in the sun and the water heats up to a nice temperature when it's warm enough. And if it's too cold, I'll just heat water up on the stove and pour it in there and can take a nice hot shower. I do have a shower tent that's stored right here. I can set up outside for privacy. Most of the time I don't need that. I'm camped somewhere where there's nobody around, and I just really enjoy the feeling of taking a shower outside. So that's how I do that. And I can talk a little bit about toilet and bathroom here in a minute when we get to that. But moving on, I have my backpacking backpack, which I've been using a lot. Been doing a lot of backcountry tent camping. So this van serves as kind of a home base for those type of adventures. So I can just pull that off, pack it up, and get into the backcountry. And then behind that is some shelving that I built. I've got some organized little containers here for a lot of my accessories for my camera gear and other tools and that all just fits in there nicely. Try to keep that organized so when I need something, I know where to go to find it. I don't have to dig through everything in my van, which can be a problem. And then moving over to this side of the van, I've got some hooks here for my coats and raincoats. All of the clothes I own are stored up here. I usually roll them up and just fit them up in there. Works out really good for me. I can see where everything is and just grab what I need. And then of course I've got a window below that. It really comes in handy for fresh air and light. And then my bed here, which is 4-inch foam. I got this mattress from IKEA, cut it in half so I can fold the back up for when I'm sitting. And then I usually just sleep like this, but a lot of times my girlfriend is over and we'll slide this out into the alley. Have like a slat bed that slides out, can bring down the back mattress and have a nice full bed. And then up front here I do have more storage. I would like to get rid of all these totes that are stacked here and build shelves like I did in the back. This is all stuff I'm going through and paring down, so I'll relieve myself a lot of this junk. It's been a process, but I'm getting there. And of course, all the components for my solar power system. I've got 4 Battle-Born lithium iron phosphate batteries at the heart of that. Solar panels up on the roof. 570 watts of solar panels, 400 amp hours of battery, all the components I need to harness and use that power. There's a look at my desk when I'm in office mode with my laptop set up here. And this is actually my little USB charging station. It's got a total of 4 USB ports and then one standard kind of 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter port. And I have it mounted in this little box, which will eventually, that's one of my today projects, is I'm just going to mount that up in my shelf there so it doesn't slide around. I'm going to drill a hole on the side to feed the wire through so the wire is nice and tucked away. But that's how I charge all my accessories, phones, and camera batteries and stuff, is all through this little port. We probably should move on to talking about the toilet. Typically, when I'm on the road, if I'm traveling, you know, I'm going into cities to buy food and that, and then gas up the vehicle. Stores, gas stations have public restrooms, rest stops. And then when I'm actually at camp, I'm usually out remotely in nature. The etiquette for most national forests is, if it's not a heavily trafficked area, is to dig a hole at least 8 inches, bury your solid waste, and pack out any toilet paper. So I do that when I can. I use a heavy-duty Ziploc bag to store the used toilet paper, and then when I break camp, I find a place to dispose of that, public waste disposal. And when I can't do that in an emergency situation where I need to relieve myself inside the van, it's a big question for a lot of people. For a lot of people, this may be too much information. I apologize, but it's part of living this lifestyle. So I'm going to set this camera up on a tripod, and I'll show you the system I'm using for a kind of makeshift portable toilet. Okay, so for my toilet setup, I use this contraption here. This is made by a company called Belika, I believe. I'll put the name up on the screen. And it's pretty heavy duty. It's solid or stainless steel tubing with some sort of polyplastic seat that seems to be really strong. And it has this top cover here, so you can actually use it like a seat, which I've been doing. This has kind of been my office chair here. I sit it here and I can sit at my desk. But this is also removable, and you've got a standard kind of toilet seat there. And the setup for using it is it also has this ring here, and you just use any type of trash bag. Feed the bag through the ring there, and then that whole ring just fits very tightly into the seat, and then you've got a place for solid waste. And that's my setup there. It's very simple, quick, and easy. So when I'm at a remote camp and I need to use this, I also have another little storage bucket that I can put the bags of solid waste and store till I leave and I'm at a public waste facility where I can dump that. And that's how I handle it. It's very quick, easy, and low maintenance, no black water tanks and chemicals or anything like that. It just works very effectively for me. I've been using this setup for quite a few years and really don't feel the need to have anything more than that. This can also be used out in the woods. You know, if it's okay to do, most national forests, it's not a problem. I can set this up out in the woods and just dig a deep hole below it and use it more than a few times and cover up with dirt between each use. Again, packing out any used toilet paper. And that's that. Works out great. Okay, so that's a little glimpse at my little home on wheels here and kind of how I get by in it. Another thing I probably should touch on that I didn't is you'll notice that I do not have a sink in here. I've been living in vans for the last, this is my 8th year, and I've never found the need for a sink. I tried it once and it was just overkill. I wash my dishes with distilled white vinegar, full strength. I put it in a spray bottle. Vinegar breaks down oil, has antibacterial properties. So my dirty dishes, I really try to just clean as best as possible when I finish eating. A lot of times I'll just, you know, take a utensil and really scrape them out good so there's not hardly any food waste. And then the residue that's left behind, I spray with vinegar, and I just take a washcloth and wipe that clean, give it another spray, and that pretty much keeps it nice and clean. Again, vinegar has antibacterial properties, so I mean, it leaves you with a nice clean dish ready for use again. And then for stuff like brushing my teeth, I keep my toothbrush and toothpaste up here, and I use this little squeeze bottle here with water in it, and then I just take an old can. This had crackers in it. It's a nice tall can, and I'm able to brush my teeth, and then I can take my toothbrush, use this squeeze bottle, open up the can and just hold my toothbrush over it and rinse the toothbrush. This puts out a nice little stream of water to get the toothbrush nice and clean. I can spit the toothpaste into the can here, use mouthwash, spit that in there as well, and this stores last long enough to get me through a good week. Usually by then I've broken camp and can find a public restroom and dump this down a toilet and just flush it. So that's how I brush my teeth and do dishes without the need for a sink. Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything as far as living in a little space like this. The big question that may be on a lot of your minds is how I get by. I don't, do I have a job, or where do I get money to get by and travel around and live like this? I do take jobs. I take seasonal jobs. Instead of working a normal 9 to 5 and taking vacations like I did for so many years, I've found that seasonal jobs work better for me. It gives me a lot more freedom, and because I'm living on so much less money, I only have to work a couple jobs a year, and that brings me in enough. I've been doing in the past, going up in the fall to North Dakota and working in the farming industry, and then in the summers, past few years, I've been going to Alaska and working in the salmon fishing industry. There's a lot of different seasonal jobs out there to choose from. I actually have made a playlist of videos called Working and Making Money on the Road. I'll put a link to that in the video description so you can check it out. I show a lot of the jobs that I've done in detail and talk about the pluses and minuses with working those jobs. But overall, this has been a great lifestyle for me. If you're here watching this video, normally I show a lot of my travels and being out in nature, but every now and then I just like to check in and kind of show the behind the scenes of what it's like, what my living space is like, and how I get by in such a small space. And really, I sacrifice a little bit of comfort in here, not much, but that sacrifice of those comforts really give me the freedom that I've always craved in life. I really have felt that I have a deep need to spend more time in nature, and I do a lot of that these days. And that just really gives me a peace and contentment that I never really had before, spending a lot of time in the city and working a normal 9 to 5 type setup and going back to a small house or apartment. It just it wasn't working for me. So I kind of did a big change in my life and have arrived at this really working well for me. I have a really awesome girlfriend that has been traveling with me, and I just really enjoy her company, and we've just been able to kind of share this adventure together. So all in all, I feel like it's a great life out here. It's not for everybody, but if you're here watching this video, you probably have some interest in it. And I would just encourage you to, look at your life, and if there's anything you can feel you can change, I would encourage you to do it. Life is way too short to not be living the way you really want to live and be doing the things you want to do. So I really hope that you have the ability and ways and means to get out there and do that. I'll be out here doing my thing, and I just wish you all the best doing your thing. Take care, guys, and we'll see you soon. Peace.